Alright, what's up everybody? So after a lot of body work, we are finally ready for our first prime. I don't know how it's going to go, probably not too well. We're going to do more body work after this prime, but it's just going to give us a general idea of what all we have to work on left. Got these things mounted up on boxes. We're going to see how this goes, try to do 2 coats of primer, probably just 1 if I see that there's a bunch of spots I don't like and I have to redo, but we're going to go ahead and see how this does and get from there. So this is the end result of our first prime. It didn't go too bad. We just got a few little pinholes still left over here and there. Majority of the truck looks fine. You can see the top of this, got a little bit of trash and stuff here and there. Nonetheless, everything looks pretty good. It's just kind of the features we were upgrading, you know, just customizing, kind of still got the little pinholes in there. But still, nonetheless, everything else turned out pretty good. I am going to go in here and probably fill this and make this smoother. I thought I could leave it, but I don't really like it, so I think we're going to go change that. And I got a little spot back here, so other than that, though, we're coming along really nicely. I got to fix this up here as well. I'm just not happy with that. I thought about going with a roof rack, kind of like the picture back here they had one on the truck at one point. That truck also has 3 sunroofs, not doing all that. May still put a roof rack on it just because I think it'd be kind of cool just to tow something with it and just have the roof rack. And then again, may leave it simple and clean. We'll see. Nonetheless, got to go over a few things, fix it here and there. Not that bad. We're almost done, guys. Ready to do a custom color. I'm excited to see what I choose. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't know yet. I have a general idea of a color shade, I guess you could call it, or a color. And we're going to do something cool with it. So I'm really excited about that. All right, so you can kind of see I went ahead and sanded this down. And then what I did right here for all these things, went and took my 3M Platinum finishing glaze right here with some cream hardener and went ahead and I filled all these pinholes. What I did was I just took that stuff, put it on my finger, you can see right here, and just barely went over this and just kind of sculpted it with my finger and pushed hard so I get the air out and fill these in. Now I'm going to go ahead and sand these down with some 320. We got some 3M Cubitron 3, Cubitron 2 actually paper. We're going and sanding this down. I'm using a 320 grit right now, just a very soft foam block. We're going over all this stuff. Getting all this done around all these edges, really the biggest part. Then on the bed, we had all these parts right here. We're just going back over and making sure everything's all good. We're gonna do a bed liner in this truck, so I'm not really concerned about this. Okay, so I don't know how well you can hear me, but I'm hoping you can hear me pretty good. The paint booth is tied up with a Volkswagen Beetle I was painting. So we're up here at the front, my body guy's part. Got the body laid out right here. Thank God that stopped. But got the body laid out right here. I did my final sanding. I did my final putty and spots, so cross my fingers, this is going to be the last time we have to do this stuff. Pretty excited. I'm going to go ahead and prime this thing real quick and then call it a night. Alright, so the body I believe is officially done. I do not like those lines there at the bottom. I'm not 110% sold on them, but everything else looks pretty good. Yeah, not sold on those lines, but I really don't know what I can do. I kind of carved them with a Dremel the best I could, and they're not even, they don't look good. But I'm going to try to do something else with that versus trying to take it with the Dremel. I really don't know how else to carve that because it's kind of a bunch of fiberglass and stuff, so it's kind of tricky there. But everything looked pretty good. I do have some spots on the roof I'm not happy about, but like I said, I don't know how to get that. I just went over and over with it. I'm not the best at body work, so it's kind of just might be what it is. Like I said, the truck's going to flip over and stuff. I'm not trying to put a ton of time in it, even though I have like probably, I don't know, a full day in it, like probably 3 hours a night here and there. It's probably maybe a full day in the body. Not that bad at all. I'm ready to get some paint on the thing, and we'll just kind of go from there, guys. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. As long as I like it, it's all that matters. All right, I'm very happy to say that I think we're going to do our final sanding on the Cummins before we throw some paint on her. Super excited, super cool. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing sanded. I believe we're just going to sand it with some 800 real quick and then go back, follow it with 600. We're going to do 800 over the whole thing, just 800 over some rough spots that I have, and I want to get smoothed out further. Then we're going to finish off with 600, and then we'll go ahead about getting some cool base coat and laying it down. Super, super excited. Super excited. Okay, so something I kind of want to show you guys. Want to do a little in-depth thing here, so I wasn't just doing a time lapse talking. But so just do a Check Me 600. I got a very soft block here. Some of that stuff is pretty intricate, so that's why I just did it with my fingers. You're not really leveling anything per se here. All you're necessarily doing is removing the texture or the orange peel, whichever you want to call it. So what I'll do is I'll take my little piece of 600 wrapped around here. I'll just gently spray that. I'll go ahead and spray this as well. If you think it's got dirt or anything, go ahead and wipe it so you don't dig into the material you're working on with it. Now I'll just take this thing. I'm just going to go over the whole thing. You can hear, especially right there, you can hear the texture in this and the difference of when you get done. You'll notice that it just starts to get smoother. It's easier to push across the panel. Everything's just going to get nice and smooth. I'm going to go ahead and do this over the whole panel for a little bit until you notice you get it pretty smooth. And a quick tip to do, you just always keep this clean as well, as this stuff will get caked up on there. You can do this dry if you have the paper with holes in it. I don't have access to that right now. I didn't run and get any. I just have this stuff, so I just keep it wet and it's perfectly fine. You can do this wet or dry. This paper doesn't really work good dry. If you do that, it just kind of cakes up and doesn't really do anything, I find. But just keep a little bit of water on here, kind of the nice white foamy bubbles. Go over the whole thing here, kind of getting all these little cracks and crevices. It'll take you a little bit of time. Once you go over this, you think you're done, just go ahead and do this before it dries. Set that to the side. We're going to take our rag here. I'll wipe this. Once this dries for a second, what I'll show you is kind of the texture we've taken away and what texture is still there. If you guys can kind of see that as this dries. What I kind of want to show here is if you can kind of look, you'll see some texture in some spots. You'll see flat in some spots. Kind of right here is a good example of where you'll see that texture start to come through the darker spots where you haven't sanded yet. Then you got some lighter spots. So you just want to go over the whole panel until you get all that texture removed. Make sure everything's nice and smooth, or else that'll show up in your paint. That's what we call as orange peel in the painting industry, if y'all aren't familiar with that. But yeah, you can see that texture really coming in now as it's drying more. So we know you just need to keep going over this panel. We're not smooth yet. We got to keep going. All right, now we are done. We got both these units sanded. We got everything smooth except for some of these crevices right here, which is perfectly fine. You're not really gonna see that after everything is on. You have multiple coats of paint and clear and all that good stuff. So you got all this very smooth, so there's really no texture to it. Everything's laid out. I'm not worried about that either because I'm gonna go right here with like some bed liner material there. But everything looks really good. I'm really happy with how this came out. This body is gonna be freaking awesome. I'm just so excited about it. I can't wait for it. It's super cool. I don't know if y'all are ready for this. I really don't know if I'm ready for this, but we're coming into the paint room. You know what that means. Custom color, custom pearl, all that good stuff. Now we need a base. We don't technically need a base, but I would like a base. I'd like a base to put down that I can go off of and kind of transform and make my own color. It's just gonna be better to start with this base, and I found some beautiful colors that I really like, and I think we're gonna be a great start to this. We have all this pearl up here. We have all this pearl down here. Plenty of it there. All this pearl over here, and we got a little bit more that aren't on the shelf. We can just take any of them and run with it. We got all this stuff. We got crystal silver, sunbeam gold. We got stellar green, galaxy blue. You can kind of see them right here in the jar. Beautiful colors. So basically I have anything here at our hands at our disposal we want to use to make this color exactly what I want. I also have a really cool idea color for the Raptor. I was going to do the Raptor absolutely crazy, like not even do a color with the Raptor. I'll go into that a little bit later when I actually do it, because I'm still going to do it with the other body we have. But right now I have a cool color for the Raptor as well. But I just feel like for a staple for the company and just to be out there on the show and be like, this is QCRC, what we're about. It's got to be, it has to be. So it's going to be